Welcome back to the Backwoods Gourmet. Today we're going to make a delicious paella in an old iron pan. Y'all stay tuned. The dish we're going to make today is a paella. It's a Spanish dish. It came over here with the first Spaniards that settled Florida long before we were ever part of the United States, and it spread around the state there. It's very, very popular still here today. It's very old. It's traditionally made on a open fire, so that's the way we're going to make it today. Okay, we're preparing our fire here. We got some coals started there off the campfire, and we just shovel them over there. We're going to need a medium-high heat to start this, so I'm going to go ahead and get that started. I'm going to put a grate on top, and we're going to go ahead and preheat our pan. But we'll be standing by to get more fire as needed. But this makes all the difference. Our weapon of choice for today is this beautiful old Griswold chicken fry pan. I've heard it is. It's a big one. The traditional paella pan is much bigger. This is the biggest one we have, so that's what we're going to use today. We'll go ahead and get that warmed up, and into that we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of olive oil once it's heated. Alrighty, got our pan going there. This is 1 chorizo sausage. These are our homemade ones. You're going to have to gauge, if you have one of those huge paella pans, you're going to want to use 2 sausages here. We're making basically a half recipe. If you have one of those big giant 20-inch pans for paella, then use more. Here's going to be a half recipe. The first thing we're going to do is just brown that chorizo off. This is, again, our homemade. It's delicious. Alright, next we have chicken. These are chicken thighs. I've cut up and quartered them. I deboned them and quartered them. And they have been marinating in paprika, oregano, and salt and pepper for several hours. At least 1 hour. Okay? At least 1 hour. Thighs. You can use a whole, if you're using that huge pan, you can use a whole chicken. Here we just have 2 thighs. Those go on next. Okay, the way I'm managing my fire is I kind of got the fire centered off to the one side, but where it's got plenty of room to move my skillet, and cast iron is the king of fire because it transmits heat very well. So I can move my pan back here where it's not even over the fire and control my heat. Right here we want a pretty good heat, medium high. So fire's pretty perfect right now. brown. The skin is crispy, so we're going to go ahead and take that off and reserve it on the side. Alright, same pan, same oil. Is half of a large onion, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to go ahead and start our, what they call the sofrito part of this. At this point, we just put a couple of new pieces of wood on our fire under there. And we want this to go gentle because we don't want to burn our garlic. So it works out really great. We have a high heat fire to start with to do our meat. And then when we put our onions and garlic in, we got a nice medium fire. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes on that, and then it's time to add about 4 crushed. Ooh, those went everywhere. We're going to just crush these between our fingers. They need to be in big chunks. Let's clean up the deck down there. Let's fold them down in the pan before we crush them. And get a hold of the little rascal. We don't want them to be in little pieces. We want them to be in pretty good sized chunks. That's about 4 Roma tomatoes. Take it up a little more. Hand crushed. Traditional style. What we're going for here. Got a little juice. Put that in there too. Alright, it's just coming up to a boil, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a generous scoop of flat leaf parsley. Put just a little more in there. Now that the onions and tomatoes are starting to caramelize, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle in 1 cup of short grain Spanish rice. This is Valencia rice, Mediterranean rice. And we're going to go ahead and just stir that around. And at this point we want to kind of stir fry the rice a little bit, kind of like we would do a risotto. Just to give it a little, toastiness. We'll let that go a little while. See now that rice is pretty much all toasted, kind of caramelized. We'll go ahead and put our chorizo sausage back in. We'll put our chicken in. All the wonderful juice that came off of it. Fire going pretty good. We'll get 3 cups of water. You're going to see this beautiful red broth that develops. Here's our very expensive pinch of saffron. In. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to cook 10 minutes. Looking beautiful though. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't think I need no paella pan. Good old Griswold there, working pretty daggone good. We just spread the fire out a little bit, bring it down to a simmer. But it's working awesome. Well, if you made this dish before, you know I kind of went off the reservation. If you didn't make it, then learn this. You know, the traditional recipe, you got to cook the rice before you put the chicken and the chorizo back in there. Well, I want that flavor from that chorizo and that chicken back in my rice. That's why I put it in now. Plus, it's going to make it a lot more tender. Sometimes outside of the box is better. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. It's looking pretty good. We got a few more coals going over here just to keep it going and simmer. I'll go ahead and dump them out. We'll add them as needed. This is a point now where we don't want to add any more moisture to it. And we don't want to, we put about a 3/4 of a cup additional water. So here we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these are cherry stone clams. We'll nestle them down in there. Give them a couple minutes. And the traditional recipe says that I put the shrimp in right now, but again, I'm going outside the box and I'm going to wait just a little while longer, at least till those clams start to pop open. I don't want to overcook my shrimp. Be the last 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and put in our huge lobster tail. Put him right around the middle there. He only needs 5 minutes to cook. Don't want to overcook that guy for sure. Costs $12. As that starts to cook, I'm going to go ahead and put a little Seminole Swamp seasoning on that lobster. Just a little over the top. Looking freaking awesome. Okay, right at the end, we want a good hot fire, and we don't want to toast the rice on the bottom of the pan. That's why we're kicking this way up. That sizzling is the rice toasting. right at the very end of this process. That's going to make it a true, authentic paella. There you go, boys and girls. An American style paella. But really, when you're talking about American cooking, you're talking about a combination of all kinds of influences from all over the world. This happens to be one from Spain. And it's delicious. We cooked it in good old USA cast iron. Okay, classic paella, traditional paella. Got shrimp, clams, rice. Oh yeah, we got those little toasted parts of rice at the bottom. That's what we're supposed to have. And then beautifully cooked lobster tail right on top. The only garnish this needs, a little bit of chopped flat leaf parsley right on top. We're backwoods, but we eat good. Alright, well, me and Mrs. Backwoods just pigged out on that paella, and let me tell you, it was definitely worth the cost. You know, this is not a cheap dish. You're probably going to have about 50 bucks in materials in that thing before you get it done. Hey, thanks for watching the Backwoods Gourmet today. Please subscribe, share, comment, and hey, if you like what we're doing, hit that like button. We'll see you next time.